YouTube? Anthony Olan here, and if you've been watching my channel from the beginning, then you kind of seen a transition from Android user to Apple user, because yes, I am a very big Apple user now with my iPads and my phone and my Mac. And so this video is primarily focused on these products for Apple, more specifically like accessories for Apple products, and more specifically the item we're talking about today is the iPad mini, as well as some other iPads that you may have. And being that Apple does release certain new devices in September, like the new iPhones, we may also see new iPads this year, or we may not until early next year. So I probably should have waited till September to see if we were getting a new iPad mini, like an updated one. This one is not outdated by any means. It does have an M1 chip on it, but you know, when they make a new one, they're gonna have some new chips in it, most likely. So aside from all that, the accessories I want to talk about today will not only work for this device, but it should work for the next few iPads that are releasing, as well as other iPads that are already out, like the Pros and the iPad Air. And I'm going to try to do this in order from lowest cost to more expensive items. And I'm going to start that with something that I found on Amazon for like $12, and that is a wireless mouse. Now, this thing, like I said, is $12, but it has a couple of neat features attached to it. Number one, it does have some lights that do rotate as you use it. Unfortunately, you cannot choose which light color you want to keep on the mouse, permanently, and then switch it to another color on a different day. It just rotates it, and for $12, it's not really bad. It's not a big deal. You do also get the USB dongle to plug into your device, but like I said, this is meant for if you want to use it for an iPad, and they do give you that adapter to plug it into the USB-C port of the iPad, so that's pretty cool. There's also a button right here on the bottom, and what that button does will try to change it from normal use to game use. Essentially, it just makes the speed a bit quicker when you move the mouse around. So that is pretty cool. Unfortunately, the thing that didn't make sense to me at all is the charger is not USB-C, it's like the micro USB, but it does come in the box. I just don't understand why it has a USB-C dongle to plug it into those devices, but you can't charge it with USB-C. But like I said, $12, not a bad price, pretty affordable if you ask me. And yes, it will work with your iPads, even if you have a Magic Keyboard on the iPad Pro. You do have that trackpad already, but some people like me rather use a mouse than an actual trackpad. Now, going forward from there is a couple of devices that are pretty similar for the most part, but some have differences compared to others, and that is one of these adapters for the iPad, and they each do different things. I'm gonna start with the simplest one here. This plug by Anker attaches your iPad from USB-C into HDMI, so you can project your iPad into your TV or another device like a monitor, and that will help you, stream your content to the TV. If you don't want to use the air share option on your device, you just plug it into the HDMI, and it might have less lag that way when you do that. Now, when you use something like this, you can use your Bluetooth headset to hear the audio just in your headset and have a much bigger viewing experience. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. Or I think for this primarily would be either if you want to use some content on your iPad that you want to show to more people on a bigger screen, or if you're doing a presentation on like a monitor or something, you want to connect it to that device to do your presentation. I've done one previously, so it's pretty cool. The next one about those, they're all from Anker, by the way, all these items in this section right here. These two right here plug into your device, and they allow you to plug in a few different accessories. This one has one port for HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, as well as both SD card reader, micro SD card reader, and a headphone jack. So if you want to use some headphones with your iPad, you can plug this in and be good to go. This one right here gives you two USB-As, a USB-C for like a USB-C drive or something, as well as a USB-C charger port, HDMI, and the SD and micro SD. So this one has a couple more ports that you can use, but you will have that wire hanging on the side, whereas this one is just a direct plug-in. The only problem I have with this one is if you're using certain cases, like I have the Folio case here, one of the off-brand Amazon ones, because it does the same thing for a lot cheaper cost. You will have some minor connection issues because of the case blocking it, so you might have to remove the Folio to get it to work flawlessly. And I understand you may not want to have that need to do that because you want to protect your device. So you might be able to grab a USB-C extender, kind of like what I use on my microphone to extend it to keep the case on. So that might be an option. Those extenders on Amazon are like, you get 2 for like $10 or something like that. So not bad at all. These devices, they each cost around 20 to 30 bucks, give or take, depending on which one you buy. So keep that in mind as well. Moving on is you might want a keyboard for your iPad mini. Some people don't, some people might for whatever reason. I don't see the point in getting one of those huge Bluetooth ones when you can get one like this. This is also like 20 bucks from like Amazon. It's a simple Bluetooth keyboard that unfolds and, you know, has your keyboard. This thing works pretty great. Unfortunately, not USB-C charge, it's micro USB, but this is a pretty great keyboard, and you can type everything on it. And like I said, it's foldable, it's pocketable, you can put it in your pocket, no problem whatsoever. So this is something that I found pretty cool. I got this as a gift from my brother last Christmas, I believe. And this thing, I still use it, and it's great to have it quickly when you want to do something quickly on your iPad mini, but you don't want to use the screen. You can just pop it out, type it up. And one thing that this might go hand in hand with, depending on what kind of setup you're trying to use, is a stand for your iPad. I have one right here. I don't remember, I think I got it from Amazon as well. Most of these are from Amazon, honestly. There's a bunch of different kinds of these kind of stands. This one is not the best one in my opinion. I've seen some that do collapse completely to be a flatter thing that you can just take it with you. This one, unfortunately, only this part would move. But if you want to have this propped down on a table somewhere and just put your iPad mini there and you want to type something up quickly for whatever reason, or if you are using a mini as your primary typing and tablet device and you want to be able to type things on a keyboard, then, you know, these two kind of go hand in hand. This stand was about around the same price, $20 or so, 25, give or take. But you can find some that cost a little bit more that might have better functions. I just happen to find this one, and if you want, you can just put the charger plug through that back spot right there, and you won't have to worry about major cable management going forward from there. Now, you're also going to want to try to get yourself a USB drive. I have a couple of options here that I found. One of which is a standard USB. This is about a 128 gigabyte, I believe. And for this, you need to use an adapter for USB-A to USB-C. This adapter I actually got from when I owned my Pixel phone. Each Pixel phone gives you one of these adapters. I don't know if they still do with the 6, and I think the 7 one is coming out. So I don't know if they still give you these. But I had the 2 and the 4, and I got like a couple of these. So these are good for a standard USB drive. You can just plug it in and go to your Files app and view whatever content is on here. Or you can have like your resume saved onto this and your PowerPoints and just plug it in, use it, and then take it out. The other option I do have that I want to show you, which I thought I had with me, and I don't, is one from SanDisk. I talked about this in a previous video, I believe, but this one is USB-C and it turns around to USB-A, so you do have that option to use it in multiple devices and not just one. You know, some devices like computers may not have a USB-C port, so you can just USB-C to your iPad and then USB into your computer. I actually have another one on my Xbox, so I can save my videos and my screenshots from my Xbox on the drive, and I can just unplug it, switch it around, and put it into my iPad, and then we're good to go. Now the next few products I want to talk about rather is some of the ones that are in the more expensive price range of this video. I'm going to start off with a microphone if you want to make some content with your iPad. I've seen some examples of using an iPad to use it as a video recording device. I don't know why you would exactly or what would be the purpose, but you can get one of these like a Rode microphone. You do have to get, unfortunately, an adapter for 3.5 to USB-C. Again, these also came from the Pixel phones when I owned them, but you can find these all from Amazon for like a good price, nothing too expensive. These will probably cost like $5 maybe. All you need after that is just a good mounting unit for your iPad, for your tripod, and then one that has a cold shoe mount for your microphone. You can just connect it and you're good to go. You can record. This microphone, I believe, was around $60. I have a hard time finding this one again, just for people who wanted to buy it in the future, but you can find various other ones that are very similar to this one as well. Going on from there, you might want a gaming controller to play some games on your iPad mini. You may have seen my rant about the 8BitDo SN30 Pro, which was unfortunately not compatible with any Apple product at all. So I did my rant, I returned it, So I ended up just going with a standard Xbox controller. I ended up buying a new one to use for my Xbox. I didn't want to have to constantly pair my controller from Xbox to my Apple products, then back to my Xbox. I am that lazy. So I just bought a third controller so I can have one just for my Apple devices, whether it's my iPads or my Mac, because I do have some games that I would like to play on those devices. Like I've never beaten the first Max Payne, and I have that on my Apple devices. A couple of Apple Arcade games as well. So you can just get a standard Xbox controller. These are about $60-$65 give or take. You can also get a PS5 controller. This is a Series X controller, obviously. So you do have that option to get other kinds of Bluetooth controllers. You know, some cheaper ones might be more affordable, but they may not last as long. So keep that in mind as well when you're looking at these products and these options. Now, a couple more products left to talk about, and with my use of the iPad mini, because I've been using it for a while now. I think I've bought it almost a month ago, give or take, and the battery life on the iPad mini is not really good. It doesn't last forever. It does have a shorter battery life given its size. So you're gonna want, if you're on the go, you're gonna want a power bank, and I do have one from my Nintendo Switch by Anker. One of these power banks. This one cost about, I think, like $70 or so. So I understand it's a huge cost, but this thing is awesome because it'll charge your Switch. If you have a Switch, it'll charge your phones, your tablets, and this thing has a pretty large battery. I think it's a 45,000 milliamp. I could be wrong, don't quote me on it, but it is a pretty high milliamp battery, and it will be great for your device. It does have USB-C and USB-A, so you can just plug it in and go. You can probably find a cheaper one from Anker that will do the same thing. I just happen to have this one for my Switch because at the time Nintendo had that whole thing about if it's not Nintendo certified, it will brick your Switch, and I ended up buying this one. And this thing is great. It does, I mean, it lasts a long time, and charging it, if you have the right charger for it, shouldn't take too long. Maybe like an overnight charge and you're good to go. So I recommend getting a power bank. I have not seen a single video of iPad accessories talking about a power bank, okay? From the ones I've seen about the mini, not a single one talked about it. This thing does not really have a good battery life on it. So you do want to get a power bank to keep your iPad charged and going. Now, I think the next one that's second to last expensive would be, of course, the Apple Pencil. Now, I don't know if Apple was planning to release a third pencil this year, because we got this one a couple years ago, I believe, and it's been some time. I don't know what they can do to make this better, because the first one was kind of horrible. You had to plug it into your device through the lightning port to charge it, whereas this one, if you're unfamiliar with this device, you just put it onto your device magnetically and it'll charge your pencil. The only thing I could think of is if they release a black one or a space gray one, that would be pretty cool. Maybe some different color options, because they only come in white. Now, if you're worried about how much you use it and you need to buy a new one because your tip of the pencil is kind of wearing down, you can buy a 3-pack for like $20 from Apple. You just unscrew the top and then put the new one back on. So not a bad deal. This one I believe is around $100 and something or something like that. 120, around that range. This is great for your note taking, your painting, or whatever you want to do with it. So hey, if you have an iPad, and it's a no-brainer. You have to go with one of these. Like this, even if you're not one who sketches and draws. I only do it as a hobby, very, very casually. But I'd like to take some notes on it, and maybe handwritten notes might be better for some people as compared to typing. So why not? Now, the final product I want to talk about here is another Apple one. It is, of course, AirPods. This is the 3rd gen AirPods that came out a little while ago, and then you also have the other ones like the Pros and the previous ones. We may see a new one this year, maybe like a new generation Pro, but that of course is based on with this product, price range is what which one you buy, because the Pros still cost the most at about, they used to be 150 or 250. They used to be 250, I believe. Now I think they're around 200 or less, give or take. These are about 150, I believe, 140, something like that. And it will give you different options. Like this one does have the spatial audio, whereas the Pros will have transparency mode and noise canceling mode. So that's just based on user preference. But you're gonna want some kind of Bluetooth headset that's gonna have you be immersed in your productivity when you're using your iPad. And this for me, it's a no-brainer. I would rather recommend going to an Apple AirPods rather than some third-party Bluetooth headset, just because it'll have the best connectivity and functions available to you. So just keep all of that in mind. Now that's pretty much it for the video in terms of all the accessories that I have that I found great for the iPad. In terms of more of like using it for a business standpoint, I am looking into picking up one of those square card readers, but not the cheapy plug-in one. I'm talking about the wireless one. It's like $50 that could take wireless payments, card taps, all that kind of thing. So I am planning to pick that up soon and try to use it and do a little bit of a review on it. So be on the lookout for that video. Don't know when, hopefully sooner than later, but we will see. Now, other than that, that's the video for today. If you guys have any other recommendations of items I should try out, maybe you have a product that you like that I haven't talked about yet, whether it's for the iPad or not for the iPad, let me know in the comments. I'll take a look at what we have or what you guys talk about. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's my time. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one.